Hello there, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're doing something super fun. If you are stuck in a rut with your creativity, if you are not sure how to get back into flow and actually make progress on your work in progress, today's challenge is for you. We are going to talk about 7 different things you can write in just 2 minutes. And to prove that you can do it, you're going to watch me do it with a timer, and I'm going to challenge myself to get into it. And you'll see how well that goes. Some of them were harder than others, I will admit, but it was super fun to do this. And I certainly feel much more unblocked. If you're new around here, welcome. My name is Shannon Valenzuela. I am a screenwriter, novelist, and writing coach. And my entire mission is to help writers find their voice and tell the stories that they were born to tell. So if that sounds like something that you are interested in following along with, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a video. And now, without further ado, let's jump into the challenge. All right, friends, you see I have my timer set up. I am going to see how much of a setting description I am going to get written in 2 minutes. So let's go ahead and start our timer. Now, I have, just as a disclaimer, this is a completely new setting. I am coming at this fresh. You could have a setting already picked out in your mind, what you want to write. I do have a work in progress that I am working on, a novel that I'm working on. So I am going to be using a setting from that novel, but this is a brand new setting. I haven't written this one before. I am just going to start brainstorming and writing down some different things that I want to include in this particular setting. All right, you can see my timer is up. So this is what I was able to get done. And now I have an image in my mind of what I want this to look like. So just like in the last example where I wrote a setting description, I am now going to challenge myself to begin writing a character description. I'm going to follow my usual practice of writing character descriptions, which is to start crafting a narrative of this particular character's experiences about their life and things like that. So again, this is a character that is going to feature in this novel that I'm working on currently, but I haven't really built this character out a tremendous amount yet. So I do need to do this description for them before I move forward in the story. All right, so here we go. Oh, I didn't start my timer. Here we go. So I now have a pretty good start on this description. Again, these are just things you can get started, right? This is just to get the juices flowing. This is to get you thinking. And once you start this, you can keep going, right? You don't have to stop at 2 minutes. The point of this is to show you that you only need 2 minutes and a very general idea of what you want to work on to really get some momentum going. And once you have that momentum, you can continue on with your character description or your setting description or whatever else it is that you're working on. The goal of this 2-minute sprint is literally just to get you over that initial inertia. So let's move on to the next challenge. So what else can we write in 2 minutes? Let's come up with some book titles. Why is it important for us to maybe take a couple minutes to brainstorm some book titles? This may be where you're at in your process and you just need some help getting over the finish line. The other thing brainstorming book titles can do is they don't all have to be 5 options for the same title. I'm going to do 5 different book titles here. And part of the reason I want to do that is because maybe I'm trying to come up with what project I want to work on next. And I want a title for a project. I want something that's going to get me thinking, what could this possibly be? So I'm actually going to brainstorm 5 different titles. They also don't have to be books, right? So, I write film, I write TV, I write books and short stories. So these can be titles of anything you want. The point is, get yourself thinking, start coming up with some really cool titles. Let's see what we can come up with in 2 minutes. Okay, that one was really tough. That one was really tough, partly because I had no idea what I was going to do. Obviously, that's kind of the point. That's part of the challenge. But I really struggled on that one. Some of these are not ones that I would ever actually use. But again, the point is to get us thinking. The point is to break us out of some, inertia, to get us thinking in different terms so that we can maybe open up some space for some really good ideas, right? We can have lots of bad ideas and pick the ones that sound great and start to evolve them a little bit. So hopefully, again, like this is a fun thing that you can do. And let's move on to the next challenge. This time, I am going to be brainstorming 5 tropes for my work in progress. One of the things you're going to notice that I want to do with this is not just brainstorm like the big sort of major tropes that we might think about, but also some work in progress specific tropes. That is like little things that are going to hopefully hook my readers, or that are going to become distinctive for my story. And also maybe a couple of like minor tropes that are story situations, but aren't necessarily like the big sort of major tropes. A lot of my thinking about tropes lately has been informed by a session that I saw at the Author Nation conference last year. It was an amazing talk by Sasha Black. She also draws on the work of Jennifer Hilt and Jennifer Lynn Barnes, different thinkers like that who are also writing about tropes. And if you're not sure what a trope is, I'll just give you Jennifer Hilt's definition, which is a commonly understood idea that requires no explanation for the reader. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just start brainstorming. This is going back again to the novel that I'm working on. So I'm coming back away from the sort of book titles where I was just brainstorming a bunch of different ideas to now brainstorming 5 specific tropes that I might want to use in my work in progress. And then after I'm done with this challenge, I'm going to have a couple more words to say about why you might want to brainstorm some tropes or use this to help you start thinking about your story. So let's get into it. Okay, I've given myself 2 minutes to come up with 5 tropes. I could keep going here, but I want to take the last couple of seconds actually to just tell you why you might want to be using some time to brainstorm some tropes for your work in progress. One of the reasons is that this is going to help you outline scenes for your story, because you're going to know what kinds of scenes you need in order to build these tropes, right? Friends to lovers, there's a very specific kind of arc that needs to go with that. There are certain kinds of scenes that we're going to need to build in. Some of these are character tropes, like the wicked stepmother character trope. I'm going to need certain scenes that are going to showcase that about her. Trapped in a snowstorm in a cave, that obviously could be a chapter all on its own, so I can work on brainstorming what that might look like. One of the reasons why coming up with tropes can be so powerful is it helps you with your marketing. So you're already thinking about what does your audience want to see. So it can help you with crafting social media posts or crafting author newsletter material. It can also help you if you are planning on starting a Kickstarter for your work in progress. So those are some reasons you might want to brainstorm some tropes. In our What Else Can You Write in 2 Minutes challenge, we have the challenge of writing a log line. Writing a log line. This is like everybody's least favorite thing to try to do. The advantage of setting yourself a timer for 2 minutes to do this task is that you just have to make some decisions and get something down, right? We don't have time to be second guessing stuff. Obviously, you can go back and edit this. So why should we take 2 minutes and write a log line? First of all, this is the thing that you're going to use to start pitching your story, right? This is the thing you're going to pull out whenever somebody asks you, what are you working on? You can tell them this. This is also the thing that you can use in your marketing. It helps you to understand where you're going with the story. Sometimes if you can write the log line ahead of actually writing the story, it gives you a sense for where the story is even going. Do you even have a viable story yet? It can help you to decode a lot of different things. So there's a lot of advantages to getting good at writing log lines. And sometimes we just need to practice writing a whole lot of them. So setting a timer for 2 minutes, giving yourself that forced I have to think, and I have to think fast, you're going to make some progress. If we finish it, that's great. If we don't finish it, just like, I was really struggling on the titles challenge. We'll see how I do with this logline challenge. I think I am going to try to write a logline that is going to capture the heart of this particular novel that I've been working on, the one that you've seen me kind of messing around with, these different descriptions, setting descriptions, some of the trope stuff. So I'm going to give that a shot. I have not yet written a log line for this particular novel, so this is going to be a great challenge for me. Let's see if I have it all figured out or not. So here we go. Okay, time is up. I did pretty good. I'm kind of surprised. I did pretty good on this one. So there's a lot of work that I still want to do with this, but it gives me a start, right? It gives me a start. I now have a draft that I can go back and I can work with. So that's the power of just giving yourself 2 minutes, right? I had to just make some decisions and I couldn't overthink, right? That's the beauty of setting these kinds of timers and doing these sorts of challenges for yourself. And also, look, you've now made progress, right? So the last couple of challenges here are going to be actually doing some writing on my work in progress so you can see what's possible in 2 minutes there. All right, for our next to last challenge this afternoon, we are going to do a scene outline. I am not going to follow like a bullet point outline here. This is going to be more of a narrative outline. I will link in the show notes to a fantastic article by K.M. Weiland on how to outline your scenes. But kind of like I do with my characters, I do like to have some kind of a narrative idea of what's going to happen in a scene. Even if I'm doing like a Save the Cat beat sheet, a lot of times those beats that you could do in a sentence end up being a longer narrative as I kind of brainstorm what sorts of scenes are going to need to fall underneath that particular story beat. So I tend to favor doing a more narrative style of outline that just gets me thinking. So that's what I'm going to try to do here. This is a scene from my novel Work in Progress that I have not written yet, but it's the one that I'm going to start writing for this challenge. So this is the scene. I'm going to outline it, and then we're going to be ready to dive in. So this is a practice that you could follow yourself. If you're feeling stuck, you could set your timer for 2 minutes. You could come up with, a general rough outline of what scene you want. And then as soon as that 2 minutes is up, pull up your Scrivener or Final Draft or whatever it is that you're working in, hit that timer again and just go. And of course, you do not have to stop at 2 minutes. I'm going to stop at 2 minutes and just see how many words I was able to write. But the entire goal of this is to get you to break through whatever inertia you're experiencing so that you can get into that state of flow. I'm going to go ahead and start my timer, and I'm going to start thinking through what I might want to do in this particular scene. So I have a general rough idea here of what this scene is going to look like. You'll notice that I put a note in parentheses that there are some details here that I want to think through as they connect to the story. So that's what I got done. But I now have a pretty good idea of motivations, what's going on in their head, not just what's happening, right? The what's happening is almost the least important part of this. What I really want to drive home to you is that in just 2 minutes, I'm able to start unlocking some of the things around character motivation, interaction, character conflict, and things like that. All right, my friends, we're here. We're at the last and final challenge, and I am here in my Scrivener. You'll notice I have my scene outline over here that I had just done in our last 2-minute challenge, and I'm going to set my timer one last time for 2 minutes and see how much I can get done of this particular scene in my Scrivener. So let's, without further ado, let's just get to it. Okay, so I got a little bit done here. You'll notice that, oh, I shouldn't have done this, but I went back and edited the first line of this and edited a number of other things as well during my 2-minute stint, but that's okay, right? There are no rules here. This is just an exercise, again, to get you started. If you can manage to write about 100 words in 2 minutes, you can do like 900 of those and you'll finish your novel, right? And that sounds like a lot, except that we're talking about 2-minute increments. Okay, so if you can find 2 minutes several times a day, you'll be done with your project before you even know it. So I hope that that showed you just exactly what you can get done in just 2 minutes. I do want to talk about why we do a narrative for character outlining. Why do we do a narrative for scene outlining? Why should you think about tropes, right? I hinted at some of those things in the challenge as I was kind of leading into what I was going to do. But I want to break that out for you a little bit further. So definitely stay tuned for those videos. If this is something you want to dive into further on your own, check out those resources that are linked below. And in the meantime, have a great creative week, and I will see you next time.